I've got something new, another piece of shit. This is a mini PC that claims it had Windows XP pre-installed. We'll see about that. Now, the thing is, the person that donated it to me installed an old version of Windows 10 that supposedly ran on this Asian hardware. And upon further inspection I found out what this really was and when it was released. This was supposed to be an x86 mini PC that would do the job of a full-size computer in the palm of your hand. It wasn't built for heavy usage or intensive tasks, but for productivity and office use only, whereas the multitude of connectivity ports, the CPU being one core only. Yes, you heard me right, single core. It's as cramped as it gets, and under that cooler and motherboard is actually a spinny boy. More on that later in the video. Somehow that 1-inch fan is able to cool the entire PC. Not that it was something very high power, but still. Let's get this thing set up. The only monitor I have on hand is the 4x3 one that somehow works fine with this version of Linux I have installed here. The 16:9 one I tested off camera wasn't scaling the UI properly, so I stuck with this one. Now let's see how long will the startup take. I tried installing Linux partly off camera, but unfortunately I didn't manage to get it to run some games. The only thing I can show around is the user interface. I'll return to this in the future once I learn how to use it properly. This is a single core VIA C7 processor, 1000 MHz, paired with a 1 GB of RAM that was supposed to run Windows XP or Vista at the time of release. Now I've installed Linux and it runs acceptable for most basic tasks and browsing the web. Now let's tear it down and replace the thermal paste. Inside, the components are kinda sandwiched and cramped into a small space, the hard drive sitting flat under the CPU PCB and RAM being between the HDD and the CPU board. I finally made it. That took a long time and I don't want to imagine how painful will it be to put it back up. That HDD I was talking about earlier is an IDE 250GB hard disk from WD that originally had installed Windows XP on it. I am planning in the future to install again the original operating system and see if it's any usable and perhaps play some games and install different programs. Hope it doesn't break by then. Luckily, it supports DDR2 SD RAM, which will easily allow me to upgrade it to a higher amount than 1 GB, as seen here. Look at this crusty old thermal paste, almost 20 years old. After carefully cleaning the CPU die, I applied Arctic MX2 thermal paste for better heat transfer. It isn't top of the line, but certainly miles better than that thermal pad. Now I have to struggle again to put it back up. Wish me luck. Let's see if it still powers on. That wasn't supposed to happen.